In this final video of the chapter, we'll talk about muscle development and muscle diseases. Our learning objectives are to focus on muscular dystrophy and myasthenia gravis and describe them, and then explain how our muscles age and what we can do to prevent age-related decline, or sarcopenia. So in utero, your muscles develop pretty early. So you're going to get about week 16, they call it quickening. It's when you can feel the baby start to move. And as the baby grows and develops outside of the uterus, so a newborn to infant to toddler, the muscles are going to be grown and develop in segments. So they'll first get gross motor control, right? They'll be able to lift up their head and then sit up and then eventually stand. And then eventually they'll get that fine motor control. This is why little kids need to use those big fat crayons as opposed to little skinny crayons, because they don't have fine motor control yet. They can't move their hands into that very specific tiny way in order to hold a thin crayon. Muscles are laid down head to toe. So example, baby's going to hold its head up before it holds itself up in a seated position before it stands, and proximal to distal. So they'll move their arms, and then they'll be able to move their fingers, legs, and ending with toes. Let's talk about two diseases. So the first is muscular dystrophy. This is an inherited muscle-destroying disease, and it's a class of diseases, so there are multiple types of muscular dystrophy. The one we're going to focus on for this class is Duchenne's because it's the most common. It's usually diagnosed when the child is 2 to 7, and unfortunately, this is a disease that's fatal by the time the person is in their 20s, usually from respiratory failure. So it's an issue with the dystrophin protein, which helps stabilize the sarcomeres in your muscle. Myasthenia gravis, on the other hand, is an adult onset muscle disease, and it's first characterized by muscle weakness. So this time you'll see a person first has drooping eyelids, and then they'll have swallowing and talking issues, and eventually they too will die from respiratory failure. And this is caused by a destruction of the acetylcholine receptors. It's thought to be an autoimmune disease. So your immune system for this disorder will actually destroy your acetylcholine receptors. So your muscle sarcomeres are intact. They just are not getting any signal from the motor neurons to contract. Age-related decline is sarcopenia. So this happens to everyone, the atrophy or decline of muscles. We get an increase in the connective tissue and a decrease in the muscle itself. And this causes a decrease in body mass and decreased muscle strength. But you can maintain or rebuild muscles into your late age through exercise. So muscles, again, are a use it or lose it kind of thing. So you want to constantly be exercising and working those muscles to help maintain muscle mass. So with that, we have ended chapter 6. Please study, read, find ways of learning the different muscles, and let me know if you guys have any questions.